if you have any plan of buying a property in Lagos this year or the years ahead, then I have got a news for you. It may not be a very good one. It is an information that will have a direct effect on your investment decisions, and that is the more reason why you need to watch this video from the very beginning to the end, because right, I will be sharing with you the latest development for those who want to own a property here in the city of Lagos. But before I do that, let me quickly give you a summary of this very development, and then I will come back to tell you how this will have a direct effect on your investment decision. Take a look at this.
According to Chuka Iroko of the Business Day newspaper, in a report, investment interest in construction and real estate businesses in Lagos may suffer considerable setback following the decision of the state government to raise building planning permit rates by 100%. According to the report, experts note that the increase is an additional burden on a sector that is already under intense pressure from a galloping inflation, high cost of funds in terms of high interest and exchange rates, as well as a rising cost of building materials. The present increase, which is the third in 2 years, is expected to impact negatively on the construction industry because it affects building assessment, special enhancement levy, infrastructure development charges, as well as the stage certification in all local government areas of the state. Before this time, Lagos was charging 10,000 naira for building assessment for 1 to 650 square meters and 4,000 naira for subsequent 1,000 square meters for all areas, while state certification is 35% of building assessment, while registration and application are 5,000 and 25,000 naira respectively for all areas. The renovation fees are 25% with former permits and 100% if there is a no proof of former permits. The implication of this latest development by the Lagos state government is therefore the fact that builders or developers in the state will have to pay more in order to obtain all of the above mentioned certification before construction. As expected, this will also have its impact on the price of finished buildings within the state. With a constantly growing population, Lagos State continues to suffer the issue of housing deficit, with a greater percentage of the city's population without access to decent accommodation or quality housing.
Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bright Peter Side, your favorite real estate broker right here in the city of Lagos. So here are 4 ways that this new policy by the Lagos state government will affect home buyers or owners here in Lagos State, as well as developers. Now, the number 1 is increase in documentation. Yes, this simply means that you will have to pay more in terms of documentation. As I speak with you, one of my partners, a major developer in Lagos, over the week reviewed their documentation fee from 150,000 naira initially to 500,000 naira currently. And guess what? They cited this very policy by the Lagos state government. And so what this implies is that for you who is intending to own or even build a property in Lagos, you will have to spend more in terms of documentation. Like you may know that the importance of documentation when it comes to property cannot be overemphasized, since the proof of ownership of every property is tied to the document thereof. Since you have to process all of these documents such as building plan and all other relevant documents that is needed for you to own a property. Many of them have already increased their documentation fee. The one I cited from 150,000 before now to 500,000 naira currently. Now you can see the percentage, you can see the gap. And why they have to do that is because even as developers, they have to pay more. The number 2 way this new policy by the Lagos state government will affect homeowners is the issue of possible cutting of corners, right? Yes, there's likely to be a situation where both developers and private property owners may want to cut corners. Reason being that due to this new cost of processing all of these documents that is needed before construction of a building in Lagos, such as building approval, all of the certification, people may likely want to cut corners. And by that I mean that they may want to avoid processing all of these documents before building a property. And you know what that means, that many times when they cut corners or when they fail to obtain the necessary permission, the quality of such structure can actually not be guaranteed, and in other ways it can also affect the urban plan, right, of that very location. people are likely to involve in cutting corners, particularly developers. They may not want to pay that huge sum of money just to process documents. If you are just joining us, don't forget that you are watching the video on how the new Lagos State building approval policy will affect homeowners in the city of Lagos. Now, before I share more with you, if you are visiting my channel for the first time, you are welcome. If you are returning as a subscriber, you are welcome. Please do well to like this video, give it a thumb up, click on the notification bell so that you can always get interesting updates on this platform. The third way this new policy will affect homeowners in Lagos is increase in cost of finished apartment. This simply means that for you who is intending to buy a property, whether land or particularly housing in Lagos, you will have to pay more. The reasons are not far-fetched. Considering the fact that developers have to do all of this processing, they have to pay more now in order to get a certification before construction. You will certainly have to pay more, because don't forget that many times when you have a policy like this, those who bear the direct brunt of this kind of policy are home buyers. It means that if you bought a property, a 4-bedroom semi-detached last year for 60 million naira, you should know that by the reason of this policy, that very building may increase by up to 70 or 80 million. Reason being that for the fact that developers are paying more to process or get the certification for the construction, this will also affect the cost of that building when it is completed. By that I mean that the cost of finished apartment in Lagos, whether on the island or mainland, will certainly increase. Having said that, the fourth way this new policy will affect homeowners in Lagos is in times of housing deficit. Already we know that Lagos is crowded with increased population daily. Now the truth is that this new policy will affect the possibility of people owning a home in Lagos, and you know what that means. It will further elaborate the existing housing deficit we have in Lagos, because a lot of people, by the reason of cost, may not be able to afford owning the new buildings that will be coming into the market from developers. Again, those who are intending to build in Lagos may have double mind building. Reason being that they now have to pay so much in processing all of the documents needed to build a structure in Lagos, such as building approval, the LASBA certification, all of the necessary certification that needs in order to start building in Lagos. This may discourage people from building, and you know what happens in this kind of situation? Housing deficit will increase, because if people do not build a private house and they also cannot afford to buy the ones that are in the market by private developers as a result of cost, then you can be rest assured that the housing deficit gap that we have in Lagos will further expand. And you know that that is not good for us, because home remains a basic need of man according to the Maslow hierarchy of need.
And so this very policy, we know that, further compound the struggle for quality housing by Lagosians.
In this video, I've shared with you the 4 ways by which this new policy by the Lagos State government will affect buyers or developers. Number 1, I mentioned increase in cost of documentation, which means that those buying properties in Lagos will have to pay more in terms of documentation. And then number 2, I mentioned the fact that there will be possible cutting of corners. Number 3 is the issue of increase in cost of finished apartment, which means that home buyers will have to pay more to own a home in Lagos. And lastly, the 4th one is the fact that this new policy will increase the issue of housing deficit in Lagos, because it will discourage a lot of people from building. And on the other way, considering the fact that the cost of buildings in Lagos will increase, it will also make it possible for a lot of Lagosians not to afford all of these properties, and all of this put together will have ripple effects on Lagosians. Now, I hope you found value in this video so far. Again, please don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell on this channel so you can always get interesting update on this channel. And for all of your real estate products and services, don't forget to reach out to me through the number that's showing on your screen, and with that I can help you get started. Again, my name is Peter Sai, your favorite real estate broker right here in the city of Lagos. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.